Hey, this is Demetrius Witherspoon, writer, director, producer of sci-fi. Join me as I dive deep into the world of sci-fi, films, comics, mental health, and fascinating conversation with amazing individuals. Be ready to get submerged.
What's up, people? Here we are doing it again. I want to, first of all, again, this is Demetrius Witherspoon, and I am the creator and writer-director of the Submerged universe. And I've been a writer and director and making films for over 10 years now. So, but along with that, it's doing these different conventions. And so we're going to get into that. But first of all, I just want to talk about what I got on here. This is Gamescom Film Festival, representing with the shirt and everything. Barry Gaines, he's an amazing director. He has a fantasy film, also not even the festival, but also his film series that he has. So you want to check that out. But go to Gamescom, and they're going to be in Las Vegas, and go check that out. They're film festival and expo, so you don't want to miss that. And they're going to have not only films, but also different people that are speaking. You get to meet all kinds of actors and producers and directors, and some awesome fantasy and sci-fi films. So go to Gamescom and let them know that Demetrius Witherspoon sent you. So again, representing. All right, let's get into it. How to sell your indie film at comic conventions. I put comic conventions because that's what I've done the most, but there's different ones that you can do. So let's first look at what your film is about. Now, if it's about horror, then you probably need to lean more toward like HorrorCon and all those different film festivals that kind of deal with horror or sci-fi or fantasy. Sometimes they have spots for that, but you want to lean toward that. So that's where your crowd is, and so that's where you want to lean to. Now, with me, I have sci-fi. So between the sci-fi, I have the Submerged universe, which is made up of 5 films, and then an animated pilot, which we won awards on, and also comics. I have a novelization of Submerge Echo 51. And then we also have a card game that was invented by Brett Robinson off our universe. So Submerge Echo 51 card game. What else? There's so much more. Coloring books, action figures, pops. So this didn't happen overnight. Again, I've been doing this over 10 years. So getting started, I would say, and again, this is just me. This is how my journey has went, and this is what I've found. Everybody else might find a different way that works for them. So for me, starting out, I have my films, and a lot of people say, well, you can't do anything with a short. Well, that's true. There's a lot of times you can't sell a short, but I found a way because I did multiple shorts, and it's all in the same universe. And then I was able to build around that, and that's part of my transmedia. So learn that transmedia. So it might not work for everything, but it could. So like romantic comedies, I don't know. You might be able to find something in that, but it wouldn't be at a comic convention. You wouldn't be able to sell that at a comic convention. Maybe if you had novelizations of that and it was leaning toward fantasy. But again, it depends on what con you're going to. All right. So with me, I have the films, and then as I started, I would say the very first con that I ever went to, I knew that, first of all, going to conventions, first of all, to kind of see what's happening. Let me rewind that back. My first big convention or convention ever was Gen Con with over 70,000 people there. Now, it's a gaming convention, but I learned so much about marketing, not only games. It's like, well, I can apply that to my film. So, looking at some of the cosplayers, they had their own trading cards. So I was like, okay, I can do that. I can make trading cards. If you got Photoshop and then you got AI, but make sure it's your work. Okay, make sure it's your photos. So I took pictures of my characters and the actors as their characters. I even had artwork drawn of my characters, and then we made trading cards out of it. So look at other things that can go around your film. Okay, now sometimes it's not easy. It truly it is not easy, and you got to spend some money to make some money. So just look at have your film, make sure it looks professional as much as possible. If it's a short, I would not go try to sell anything. If it's one short, and if it's like 15 minutes, um, 20 minutes, you might be able to, if you surround more stuff with it behind the scenes, get it up to an hour some kind of way, or 45 minutes, and put it on DVD. Or if you have multiple shorts, put it on there. But if you only have one, I would say wait until you combine it with something else. Okay. You can say the anthology of, whatever the series you're trying to make up, or this is whatever your company name is, and these are all your short films on one disc. That's something you can do. But make sure it looks really good. Let me show you. So like this is my Blu-ray. Okay. So when they get that, you want to make sure, I don't have my other one in here, but make sure everything looks good. I know it's shining on there. Have your films together. And then you might bring some props with you, maybe from the movie. If you got the costume, maybe you find a mannequin somewhere, you can put the costume up. Anything that brings attention to your booth. And we're about to get into what kind of booth you can get. One of the reasons, because it's very important to bring attention to what you're doing, one of the reasons that I started really talking about this is because when I post, there is so many people that inbox me. Is like, how can I get at this con, and how do I get this con? You have to do your research. Over the years, I asked that when I first started, because I had sci-fi. So where do I get into that? So I first looked up different conventions and film festivals that was on Film Freeway. Again, that's Film Freeway. And a lot of that, it has some online, but it also have festivals that you attend. And some of those festivals have vendor spots. So, count the costs, get you something low cost starting out, and get in there and meet some people. And don't go in with the attitude of, I'm going to sell all of these. I mean, you could, but the main thing is that your marketing, you're getting the word out about your product more than just online. You're meeting people face to face. The other thing is you're just starting out and nobody knows anything about you. They know nothing about you unless you were put into their program, and maybe they went through with all the 1,000 people and vendors they got, maybe they went to your website to check you out. But nobody knows who you are. So you have to let them know who you are. That's make me think of that Black Panther. Show them who you are. But anyway, so yeah, I try to let people know, because when they hit me up in my the DMs and everything and ask what cons can I get into, first thing I let them know is again, look at your genre, then also Film Freeway, but then also go to Google, search a local con that is dealing with geek, dealing with film. So just do that. Google that, local Comic Cons, and they'll give you all the Comic Cons that are coming to your state or nearby. And so just starting out, try to hit local stuff so your cost is down of driving. Think of ways that you can get a booth, but kind of keep your costs down a little bit. I suggest starting out with an artist's booth. Maybe have some artwork you can sell that are original from, the cover of your, the poster that you have for your film. You can also have some artists do some artwork from some characters of your film. Matter of fact, you can even have your actors there with you to help you sell your DVDs or your Blu-rays or your movies. And if you don't have a whole lot of movies, make sure you have marketing there, some flyers, something, because you never know who's going to go ahead and look that up and say, hey, I want to check that out. But again, it takes a lot of patience and it takes time. So I can't say that enough. It takes patience and it takes time. Remember, people don't know nothing about you. Okay. So you get that artist booth. And again, some of these I'm kind of flying through. I'm going to go ahead and call this part 1, because there is so much. And I'm always continuously learning because of the economy or the way things are changing with AI and things like that. And that's a whole nother story too. You gotta be careful. Some cons, they don't like AI artwork and things like that being there. So you got to be conscious of that. So yeah, get a small booth somewhere. And again, like I said, stay local if you can when you're first starting out. I know you want to get to Comic-Con and I'm going to do this and in San Francisco, but you got to think of your cost driving. You got to think of that booth, which can be anywhere from $500 on up to $1,000, $2,000. The artist booths are a little bit smaller. I mean, in price, they can run. Well, it just depends on what con it is. I'm not going to even try to give prices. You just got to kind of look. Once you find a con, go on the website and look under their vendor spots and just kind of see how much they're charging. There are some small geek Comic Cons that their booths start out at $100 or $75. You want to get some of those because you want to get your feet wet. And, look, you kind of look at how long they've been going. Is this their first con? That means that they might not have a big crowd like they were, or if they've been going for a while. What is their attendance like? And that can vary because while they're having that event, there could be the Indy 500 going on. And so, or another big event across town. So, you got to kind of look at those. And a lot of times they try not to schedule it 2 big events in the same time. if they can. But if it's a bigger city, there's always something going on. So look at their prices, get something affordable, and just realize you're going to take a hit, and you're not going to. I'm not going to say you're not going to sell 1,000 copies, because somebody might be out there to sell 1,000 copies. I don't know, but keep it simple. So you have your table. Now, a lot of times, some of the cons, they give you a cloth on your table already. For me, I come from DJing and doing gigs with bands and things like that. So I'm already bringing stuff. I've went to Walmart and got me some dollar a yard material, or go to whatever local. We have Joanne Fabrics here. You can go in and get you some cheap black cloth to put over your table, or whatever cloth you want to do, until you can get up to make, the money that you need and have your business name on there later on. So get you a smaller booth, get some cloth or something like that, cover your booth, make it look nice. Again, you want to attract people to what you have. Just try your best, because again, this is your first time out of the gate, or it might be 1,000 times, but just do what you can do. Okay. But you learn from each con that you do. Sometimes I take time out to walk around the con to look to see what people are doing, even if it's not films or if it's not comics. If they're selling hot sauce on one side of the building somewhere with comic characters on it, it's like, wow, that's a cool idea. So just kind of be looking out for that. But keep it simple. Have everything presented carefully, presentable, as much as you can. Have your backdrop or a pull up backdrop. Those run probably about 100 and something, depending on where you get it. Or even, what was that? You print or print on one of those, you know what I'm talking about. But you can get one of those little hanging back drops with your logo and everything on it for like $34 or something. I'll think of it. I'll put it in the comments. But so yeah, just find a little company that might be able to print that for you. You might look locally, so you can have your name on something, or have it on invest in a cloth that has your name on it. It might not fill the whole table, but at least have something on there, so people recognize your name. Because here's what's happening: you're building this, and then you go to the next con, and as you start to do conventions, and everybody knows this, everybody, especially if it's local or it's been around for a while, people shop at all these different cons. And so, it's a tour, it's a circuit. And so they might not get nothing at the one con, but they might get one at the next one. It's like, oh, you was at such and such, wasn't you? Okay, what you got? So don't get disheartened, because a lot of times I see different artists, and especially younger artists, they just all mad because they didn't sell what they thought they were going to sell. And then that's when they start blaming the facility and the people that put it on. And sometimes it's just a crapshoot. After a while, you start to figure out which ones are the strongest ones. And once you start figuring those out, then you can start to kind of build up your tour of those are the ones I want to hit. And when I say strongest ones, I mean the attendance is good. The reactions from the attendees are really good. Your sales were good. Okay. If you sell one thing, that's a win, because you went in there not selling anything. So just kind of try to keep positive thing in. And I know earlier I said, don't go in thinking you're going to sell a million things. You can go ahead and have that attitude. It's good to have a positive attitude of what you're going to do, but realize that your first few cons, and maybe for a couple of years, you're going to be losing. You're going to be losing some money. Man, again, it depends on what you got going along with your film, but you're going to lose some money. But the positive things you can gain out of it, for one thing, you're gaining attention to your brand and to your film. And let me tell you, remember, if you're going to like the bigger cons and things like that, you do not know who's walking in front of your booth. There could be people from Marvel. There could be people from Disney. There could be all different kinds of people that are looking for something new. Okay? They're looking for new films, new avenues of something that they can kind of get into. The other thing is networking. The person beside you, the person next to you, because, hey, they've been doing it for 20 years and they know which cons work really good. And looking at your stuff, they've been to that con and they've seen maybe one, maybe two people there that's been doing really good. So in my booth, you're pushing your film. They might not come to the booth, but they, make sure you have some marketing with you and give them something, a flyer. When I say marketing, it could be a flyer. QR codes are very important. Make sure that QR code goes to your website or to your Facebook or to your YouTube, to wherever your film is being placed, because sometimes, you got to keep feeding it out there, because people will go back through things sometimes and they'll look and say, oh, there was this guy, he had that film. All right, let me check that out. And they might get it, if you have it online, or they might go to Amazon and go check it out if it's on there, or Tubi. So you got to look at all those facets. So let's go back to the booth. You got your booth, and you got your film. You got maybe some stuff to kind of draw people in, if you got a little backdrop or some props. So you can also, what's important is to work on your pitch. Okay, so when you go to a convention, a film convention, or a Comic-Con, let's go Comic-Con. Okay, there's flashing lights. Everybody's trying to get everybody's attention. Okay, so you have to, not everybody can do it, but you have to be able to speak up. You can't just sit back there and think somebody's going to say, oh, your film is such and such. Oh, yeah, let me go check that out. No, you have to bring people to your booth. I talk to people. I'd be like, hey, you like sci-fi? Oh, yeah, I like sci-fi. Well, this is my sci-fi series. Let them know that, hey, you are the creator of it. So a lot of times they're not going to be getting it anywhere else. This is it. And you're meeting me, and you're getting on the ground floor of what I'm doing. Okay. So think of it in that way. And, keep your prices reasonable, because you got to think people are already paying big money to get into the convention, depending on what convention it is. Ticket prices, and if it's a whole family, that's some money. Okay, that's Disney money. Maybe. Again, depending on the con. I'm not saying every con is like that. And they're coming in to get autographs from, if they got famous people there, actors, YouTubers, things like that. So again, you have to get people's attention. So have something, think, what can I do to get people's attention? If you're just quiet nature, you need to find you a friend or somebody that can help you, that can talk, hey, this is the director, okay? And you need to create a 30-second pitch, 30 seconds or less, because people are, they're searching, they're looking, but you only got that short of time to get their attention, okay? Hey, my name is Demetrius Witherspoon, and this is my sci-fi series. Okay, it's about a lady that gets thrown into a multi-universe, and she has to find her way out, and also fight for her daughter. This is made up of 5 films, animated series, and then we got the comics. And you wait, you wait to see what they're gonna say. So, okay, so this, where did it start first? And well, it started here first. And you then you go into a little bit of detail because you're pulling them in. Okay. Anybody that's watching this and been in my booth, you know what this is. So I'm just letting people know this is the way I do it. Again, it depends on what your film is about. But so you're capturing their attention, and you want to hold it there if you can. And you don't want to do too much. I got so much, I have to narrow it in. I can't go from comic books and then try to tell them all about the game and then I have to narrow it in. I go from the movies because that's where it started, then the comic books, and then we also have a card game. Oh my God, you got a card game? One time I went through the whole spiel, 30 seconds or less, and the guy was like, oh, and I got to the card game part. He's like, you have trading cards? I was like, yeah, I do have trading cards. He bought like 50 to 60 bucks worth of trading cards because, some cons, I just at least try to have something that people can collect and have, because that's key, because people want to get involved with what you're doing, and you work so hard just to make a film and put it on the shelf. It's not, you you work too hard to not get it out there and let people know about it. And so any other ways will bring them back to the film. So yeah, like trading cards, I didn't have that many out, but I did have some under the table that we hadn't pulled out yet. And so I had different variations that I've had ever since I started. Okay. And those sold. And I've sold more over time. And just remember, 30 seconds or less, you want to, I've met people that went on and on, about their story, and, you only have a short time to capture somebody's attention. Okay. Again, like I said, at all these different other cons, they've probably came in to go see a famous person from Marvel, an actor or Walking Dead. That's where they were headed, but they passed your booth. So you got to realize, look at body language. If they're fidgeting, kind of looking around, hey, they're probably trying to get on to somewhere else, or, money thing. We'll talk about that too. So you only have that short period of time. So, say what you got to say, and make sure it's intriguing, and make sure you follow up with a card or something, a postcard, something, because a lot of people are like, I'm really trying to get over here to go get this signature. You got a card? So I have a bunch of those, something that directs them directly to the website or to your film. So make sure you have enough of those, because when they not interested in it right now, and they say, well, let me look it up. Then if you don't have anything, then that might be a sale that you don't get. And don't think of a sale just for the con that you're at. It could be a sale that happens later. I've ran into a lot of people over the years that the very first time they kind of walked past me, didn't even see me, didn't say much at all, and then come around the next con, they started buying things. So you have to have a positive attitude. Some people don't know, they might not know what you got. They might think you got bootleg copies of films. They don't realize that that is your film, that you're an indie filmmaker. So you got to let them know, I'm a filmmaker. I thought of this. I wrote it down. I gave it to actors. They breathed life into it. I filmed it. I got a crew together. We filmed it locally. People like that. Oh, you're local. Wow. And yeah, my stuff is on Amazon Prime and Tubi, and we have our own streaming service. So I know this seems a lot, but start with those small things. And like I said, this is going to be a part one because there's such other things to go into different cons. It's important to keep at it. Don't give up. Thank you, everybody, for getting submerged. You can find my films at Submerged Universe TV. Again, that's Submerged Universe VHX. That's V like in Victor, HX like in X-ray, .tv.com. And you can stream all 5 of my films there. So, and you can also see all the extras and behind the scenes. So I want to thank you for getting submerged with Demetrius Witherspoon. Until next time.